And what I'm doing is I am building a queenless cell builder. Start grafting queens here next week. So what I already did that I didn't videotape just to save time on the video, so this video isn't 20 minutes long, is I went through and I pulled out all my frames of brood and food frame with pollen nectar on it, and then I also shuck in a bunch of nurse bees. The nurse bees are probably the most critical part of your cell builder, so you have a lot of young bees to feed the larvae, feed the queens. And what I'll do is I'll go through and show you guys how I lay out my cell builder. This isn't a very big cell builder because I probably only do one, maybe two grafts out of it. I'm only looking for a few queens. So I'll show you that, and then I'll let it sit for 6 days or so, and I'll come back and rip down all the queen cells, and I'll do a video on that. And then at 7 days, which would be today's Friday, so next Friday or Saturday, depending on the weather, I'll graft and I will drop my queen cells in there and show you guys how I graft queens. There's tons of different ways to do it. This is just how I do it. This is definitely not a how-to video, and I'm definitely not an expert at grafting queens, so just gonna show you guys how I do it. If you guys haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and download the thumbs up button. Alright, so for my queenless cell builder, what I use is a 10 frame box with a 1 gallon man leak feeder in it to feed sugar syrup to the bees. And I think if you guys can see, I got all my frames here. I'll show you what those are in a minute. But what I do is I like to run 8 frame or a 10 frame reduced down to an 8 frame box, and I always put some foundation in there. The foundations for the bees, there's so many nurse bees in here, and you're feeding them sugar syrup. What they like to do is draw wax on everything, so you got to give the bees a place to draw wax, and then the center one's where my cell builder will go in the center. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go through and I'll show you guys all the frames that I have. So essentially I got 4 frames of brood, and then I got a mixed frame that's got mostly pollen and nectar on it, and I try to find all cat brood. There is some eggs in here, so we'll have to come back in 6-7 days and we'll have to pull all the queen cells off here. If you leave any queen cells in here at all, what will happen is they will completely ignore your graft, and they won't want nothing to do with your graft because they're going to focus on that queen cell that they made. So that's probably the most important part, is lots of nurse bees, and you're going to have to come back through and tear down all your queen cells in here, or they'll just ignore your grafts. But what we're going to do here, I'm going to grab, I don't think you guys can see this frame over here, but this is my pollen frame that I grabbed. And I'll show you guys this one. Now, pollen's pretty important too. If you can't find a pollen frame, you always can use pollen patties. You see all the pollen on there. This is pollen on both sides. All pollen, and there's a little bit of nectar on the back side. So what I'm going to do, we'll take the side with the most pollen and put it right here next to this. Eventually, with this here will be your grafting frame. So you want pollen on next to your grafting frame so they can draw out. You can use the pollen to feed the queen cells when they're developing before they're capped. Then I gotta find, these are all capped brood. Try to find one that has hatching brood on it. It's just older brood. You want older brood. Most of this brood should hatch end of the end of next week and halfway through next week. I'm gonna stick it here to the outside, and then some more cat brood. I'm trying to have a frame in here that's mostly all cat brood that's hatching. I didn't mark them, so I gotta figure out which one it is. It's probably the last frame. So I always like to put pollen frame on one side of the grafting bar, and then I always put a frame of brood on the other side. Actually, move this one over. And I got one more frame here. This one here is mostly cap brood. Put that right here on this side. I'm going to scoot all these over before I shake all my bees in there. Shake them over and center this up. You can see the space here. You don't want to leave any space or anything like that in your cell builder, because your nurse bees are going to want to draw wax. If you leave any kind of space in here or any kind of gap, they're going to draw wax, and that's why we got the foundation frames here. And this frame will pull out. Then you're going to knock all these nurse bees in there. Should have enough. I don't need a lot because I'm only going to do one graft. Probably what I'll do is I'll come back out tomorrow. I'll come back out tomorrow and check, because a lot of any of the forager bees that are in here, the older bees will fly back, so I'll double check either tomorrow or it's Friday, so sometime this weekend before I go back to work next week I'll check, make sure we got enough bees in here. And I don't know if you guys can see that. You can see all the bees I have in here. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not. Hear how loud they are? That's how you know there's no queen in there. They're extremely loud. It's a good sign they're queenless. So now I gotta dump all these bees in here. Without trying not to crush any of them. See all the bees. Lots and lots of bees. So we need lots of nurse bees, lots of young fuzzy bees. Now you can see all the bees flying. Those are the forager bees. The older bees will fly off. I'll probably end up having to shake a few more frames in here, by the looks of it. I'm gonna grab a couple more frames, I'll be right back. Alright, so what I did is I went and found a frame that has all open brood and eggs on it. See all the open brood in there? That's where most of your nurse bees are going to be. They're going to be taking care, you're going to be tending to all the open brood. They got to feed it, so that's what we're looking for. We should have enough bees for what I want to do, but I'll double check it again tomorrow. See if I need to shake more in tomorrow. Alright, that's pretty much it. You can hear how loud they are. You know you got no queen in there. What I gotta do now is I gotta fill this up. Well, I'm gonna let them settle down and I'll come back out and feed them. Alright, that's pretty much it. That's how I make my queenless cell star. It's pretty quick, pretty easy. Nothing big because I don't need a huge cell starter or anything like that. I'll probably only do one round of grass, maybe two. We'll see how many we get on the first take. I'm only looking for, I don't know, 10, maybe 12 cells. So pretty much it, quick. I think it only maybe took me 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the video when I'm done. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.